Right. Yeah. Scary TikToks that keep me up at night. This was from a long time ago, so I don't know. TikTokers might have already seen them, but I'm not on TikTok, so they should all be new to me, unless Nukes has done one. But yeah, anyway, scary TikToks that keep me up at night. Let's go.
Jeff the Killer.
Jesus.
911, what's your emergency? Hello? Please send the police. Calm down. What's the situation? There's a madman in my house. He killed both my parents. Alright, calm down. What's your name? James. James, are you hiding? I'm hiding in the closet. Okay, that's good. Can you give me the description of the mad killer? He's wearing a black pants, and his face is burnt with cuts on the corners of his mouth. Please send help. We're doing our best, James. I need you to be quiet.
This is a really awful sound. Really awful sound.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Alright, good. Can you give me your address? James, can you give me your address? Alright, we're sending the police your way. He's in front of the closet. James, be perfectly quiet. Help us on the way. James? James? Hello? James!
Do you know what? I was going to say, I bet he's making it up. I bet he done his parents in, and then that's how I thought the video was going to end, saying this boy killed his parents. But yeah, nah. Well, by the sounds of it, he got. Jeez.
This is pretty messed up. You've been warned. This is Joe Metheny, a serial killer claiming to have killed 13 people. He would gut his victims and then mix their flesh with animal meat to sell as burgers at his fast food stand. He said the only time he felt vaguely guilty was when children ate the sandwiches. But even then, Metheny justified his actions by telling himself it was their parents' fault for being so stupid and allowing them to eat it. He was found dead in his cell at the Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland, 2017.
Good.
This is a true horrifying story, part 25. Warning, this is not a joke. The information that's going to be shared is dangerous and life-threatening. Do not, under any circumstance, commit the actions that will be narrated. This is the world's most dangerous book ever, Shams al-Ma'arif. This book was written by Ahmad al-Buni in the 17th century. But technically, the author of this book is not a human being. I never did and will never read this book. And this is your second warning. Do not read this book. Ahmad al-Buni practiced black magic, and he was in contact with the most powerful jinns and demons before he passed away. The jinns were the authors of this book. The elder generations, like our moms and dads, have heard about this book, and they were warned by it. There are thousands of horrifying stories of people who read this book. Shams al-Ma'arif explains everything about black magic, how to get in touch with the world of jinns, how to marry a jinn, and the sacrifices you have to do for the devil, and much more. Unfortunately, this book can be easily found online. One day, a Saudi Arabian man that read hundreds of books for a living decided to read this book specifically out of interest and love for all books, without fearing the consequences behind it. He reached the chapter that teaches readers how to get married to a female jinn. He laughed about it. He tried the ritual to experiment it. The first night after finishing the whole book and completing the marriage ritual, he felt someone breathing next to his face. And on the second night, he felt a hand touching his feet. And on the third night, he heard her voice. The man was officially locked in a marriage with a demon. 5 years go by. He met a normal, beautiful woman that he fell in love with, and they both decided to get married. A week before the wedding day, the bride, the bride's parents, and the groom's parents all passed and died in 3 different car crashes. These are the consequences behind this book. And it's also known from many stories of people that have died from reading the first few pages. If you don't finish reading the book, you will get killed. All my stories, all of them, are true incidents that happened one time only. But this book is a product that is permanently available online. I beg you, do not go anywhere near Shams al-Ma'arif. This video is to educate you on the dangers behind this book. Do not go anywhere close to the world of jinns.
Wow.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Best of 2020, 2021, and 2022. This video shows a man playing Dance Dance Revolution being unknowingly recorded by some people making fun of him. The man, Adam Lanza, 6 months later would shoot his mother in the head while she was asleep and drive to Sandy Hook Elementary School, where he would murder 6 adults and 20 children between the ages of 6 and 7. In the 1960s, scientists attempted to teach dolphins English. However, the experiments were cut short when one of the scientists, Margaret Lavatt, was caught having sex with a dolphin named Peter. She even claimed that Peter initiated it, and after she left, he killed himself. In the 18th century, you could actually bring your cat or dog to the London Zoo and pay your admission by feeding it to the lions. This photo shows 8-month-old Xiao Bao, who is lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 80 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because he was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty. There have been countless cases of people's intestines being sucked out by vacuum toilets on airplanes. So if you want to keep your rectum, be sure to stand up before you flush. A man once donated his recently deceased mother's body for scientific research. Later, he discovered the research facility sold it to the US Army for $5 grand, strapped it to a chair, and blew it up with explosives. There are some Native Americans that sided with the Confederates during the Civil War, and some of them even owned slaves. On New Year's Day, this guy was drunk driving with his friends when they ended up killing 2 people. He then posted this video destroying the memorials of the people they killed and posted it to Twitter, all because his murderer friends were thrown into jail. Yuroko Onaja was in the middle of having sex with his 6th wife when his other wives caught him and became jealous. They forced him to do it with each of them, and he stopped breathing before he could get to the 5th wife. You know that moment when you're about to fall asleep and suddenly you flinch because you feel like you're falling? This is actually known as a hypnic jerk, and it alerts your body that you're dying, or at least thinks that it's dying. This is former NBA player Mark Jackson's basketball card. In the background are the Menendez brothers. They're sitting courtside shortly after killing their parents and just before getting arrested. Right now, at this very moment, there are tiny little bugs munching on your skin. More people have tapeworms than have dogs, which I guess makes them the most popular pet. Oh yeah, and this is what they look like up close. You know how every few pistachios there's always one that tastes a little bit different? Well, it's because there's a dead navel orange worm inside of it. Every single day, someone takes the largest shit in the world and they have no idea that it was them. If you're ever eating crickets, make sure to chew them thoroughly and do not swallow them alive. They have tiny spines on their legs which can cling to your throat and choke you to death. And the most blood-curdling fact of all, this series is over. I'm just kidding, guys. I thought this would be a great chance to tell you guys that I dropped a clothing line called Look Behind You. I've been wearing the clothes all throughout the video. If you're into spooky, creepy, horror type stuff, this brand's definitely for you. Links in my bio if you want to check it out, and don't forget, look behind you.
That was mad.
Can you do the one where the bride gets trapped in a chest? I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's called The Bride. This was a very popular one. So the story goes like there was a couple who had just gotten married, and during their wedding reception, they were having lots of fun, dancing, singing, and even playing games and contests. One of the games that they decided to play was hide and seek. The bride went up to the attic and was looking for a place to hide when she came across a giant chest. She opened the chest and climbed in, thinking nobody would ever find her in there, and that when they went up to the attic to look for her, she could pop out and scare them. Well, right after she had climbed into the chest, the top had slammed down and hit her in the head, knocking her unconscious. As she fell inside the trunk, the lid then slammed closed and locked. Everybody was looking for her, but nobody looked inside the trunk. After a while, they started searching elsewhere, searching all over the wedding venue and even all across town. Nobody knows how long she was banging on the trunk after she had come out of her unconscious state. But still, she was all the way in the attic and nobody could hear her. After a while of searching for her, all of her friends and family decided that she was gone and that they would just stop looking for her. Nobody ever knew what happened to her, except for one day, a maid was looking for something in the house where the wedding venue had taken place. She went up into the attic searching for this item and thought, maybe it's in the trunk. So she opened the trunk, and to her horror, the corpse of the bride was in the trunk, withered away to only a skeleton, wearing her wedding dress.
Jeez. These stories is mental. TikTok's the awful place.
Have y'all heard the story of the little girl that would pray to Lucifer? This story takes place in Tijuana back in 2005. So this little girl would pray to Lucifer every night. She would ask for her mother, her father, everybody in her family, and then she would say also for Lucifer because nobody prays for him. And obviously the mother one day overheard her and she thought it was weird and she asked her what that was about, and the little girl would just evade the question, wouldn't even talk about it. But one day, mysteriously, the little girl died, and at her funeral, this guy dressed, very humble, came and paid for everything. The funeral, all the expenses, and he just signed with an L. That was it. So the mother confronts this man and says, why are you doing this? And he says, because she was the only one that prayed for me.
Mad.
Scary stalkers caught on camera. This scared man was recording a video with his phone saying that someone was following him.
I'm pretty sure I'm being followed. I've been taking a rather circuitous route. See that woman back there? I've been taking a rather circuitous route around. And she got interested in what I was up to.
This woman was returning home when suddenly... This woman was peacefully walking around with her son, but then...
Why ever was that man bothered now? I mean, that was creepy, that woman coming out. It looked like someone in some sort of costume, but why didn't he just turn around and go, why are you following me? Do you know what I mean? The other two were scarier, do you know what I mean? A mother and her baby and a woman about to get into her apartment.
Pictures with creepy backstories. Hotel manager pouring acid into pool because he only wanted white people to use it. Youngest mother ever recorded. At only 5 years old, she had a rare condition called precocious puberty. The father was never found. Seconds after this photo was taken, both boys were struck by lightning.
Jeez.
This was the last photo taken of a volcanologist who moments later was killed by a volcanic eruption. The night this photo was taken of a mum and two sons. The son on the left paid to friends to kill her and his brother.
Jesus. This is mental.
The urban legend of humans can lick too. In the beginning,
a young woman was home alone with her dog. She was closing the windows and locking the doors before getting into bed. When one window wouldn't lock, she decided to leave it and just go to bed as usual. As she gets into bed, her dog takes his usual spot under her bed. She knows she's safe when he's there. In the deep of the night, she awakens to the sound of dripping coming from the bathroom. She's scared and doesn't want to get up to check. So she
Oh, this
reaches
is
down
urban
to the
legend.
dog under the bed for a lick of reassurance, as she usually does. She falls back to sleep. Once more the girl is awakened by the sound of dripping and again reaches for her dog's reassuring lick, and then falls soundly back to sleep. Awakened once again, and now curious, the girl gets up to have a look to see where the dripping is coming from. She opens the bathroom door, and what she found was horrific.
Her dog was hanging from the shower with a slit throat. The noise she could hear was his blood dripping into the tub. And on the mirror written in the dog's blood, it read, "Humans can lick too."
Yeah, that's urban. Because I've heard the dripping thing. Yeah, that's and I don't buy it because a dog will hear and a dog will bark. Do you know what I mean? At least, even if your dog won't attack, your dog will bark or growl or something and wake you up. Yeah, I don't believe someone could cut your dog's throat while you sleep, especially if you wake up to dripping from the bathroom. However, does anyone ever remember a story? I asked my sisters because it would have been my sisters that told me about it. I had 3 older sisters, and I swear it was, yeah, my next sister up. But I asked her about it. I've asked, well, one of my sisters is mental, but the 2 that aren't, I asked them, and they got no memory of the story. But it's cut in squares. It's kind of similar to that, but it's like a babysitter is babysitting, and then she gets a phone call saying, "I'm in the universe. I'm in your universe. Cut in squares. Cut in squares." She thinks it's a prank, puts it down. Says then it's like, "I'm in your galaxy. Then I'm in your solar system. Then I'm in your planet. Then like I'm in the house." And then she goes upstairs, and all the kids is cut into squares. Yeah, I'd have only got that from my sisters because I remember it, but they got no memory of it. So yeah, let me know because I'd love to like read that story again. But yeah, let's go. What? That's just weird. Yeah, they were good though. Good. I do love a scary story. It does. It takes you back to being a kid and hearing scary stories. But yeah, if anyone does, anybody who watches this, if you remember the cut in squares, let me know. Because yeah, I used to love that story. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.